at a very nascent stage. It is tiny compared to the applications that you think will ultimately be used, where this technology will ultimately be used. So to give you a comparison, there are a lot of numbers that are thrown around in the media around the size of the industry and the risks that it poses to the financial system and the economy more generally. For example, one might look at the market cap calculation of Bitcoin today and say that it's 176 billion or so, or that cryptocurrencies are worth about $450 billion. The reality is that this industry is so new that those numbers are highly misleading and don't give you an indication of market depth. The risk that these technologies pose right now is really insignificant. It is very difficult to hold securely, it is very difficult to source. They're not actually very useful if you wanted to use them for illegal purposes. To give you an idea, once again, in terms of the throughput on the Bitcoin network, we're looking at about 4 transactions per second. If we compare that to, say, what Visa does, we're talking about 10,000 transactions per second. So we're not even in the same ballpark yet. Where it's a little bit like we're talking about the risks that the technology might pose in the future, rather than what is actually happening today. So you might be familiar with some of the videos that have been going around recently. One of the Google teams is working on AI and robotics, and so there's videos going around of like the dog robot that kind of opens doors and does weird and wonderful things and walks upstairs, and it's fascinating and it's really scary at the same time, right? Because we're kind of like, wow, imagine if that is what our future looks like. And I think that we have a similar kind of challenge in cryptocurrency, where right now we're looking way too far into the future about how this technology might be used rather than how it is being used. The risks are completely overstated, and in fact our position here is that we're much more in favor of regulation following and legislation following the development of the industry rather than as a precursor to where the industry might go. It's well known that the bit license regulation in New York State has stopped financial services innovation in its tracks. It is exceedingly difficult to get that license and to keep that license, which means that innovation has moved into other states and has moved into other jurisdictions outside of the US. We welcome this kind of engagement because we would like to see what the state can do to bring innovation back into New York. And our position on bit license specifically is that a legislative approach is needed here to reverse the damage that was done by bad regulation.
Thank you. Can you just introduce yourself?
Sure. Yes, Senator